Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
You're listening to The Authority Report, and I am your host, Chet Bruce. I'm glad to have you here today. It is a fact that most professionals and small business owners are doing a poor job of communicating with their prospects. It is my true belief that a consumer needs to know far more about the people and businesses they rely on for help. This show is all about being a consumer advocate. We interview professionals and small business owners who freely give consumers the information they need to make informed decisions. Today we're talking with Irene West. We're talking about a subject that was brought to mind again when we had that stock market scare, when the stock market dropped 500 points. And that subject today is about owning gold. Using gold to make her life better created her ambition and her belief that everyone should have savings in the form of gold. So, welcome, Irene. We're glad to have you with us today.
Okay. So when I came to U.S. as a foreign student, I was given gold by my parents and relatives because they know they're going to be far away. They won't be able to give me instantaneous help. So this is the way they want to make me feel secured. So gold to me represents security, protection, pleasure, and love. And I'm very passionate on the ownership.
Can you tell me where that passion comes from?
I really believe gold is one of the gifts from God. It has the shimmering hypnotic characteristic that everyone, including myself, are attracted to it. We want to wear it. We want to own it. And it also, it never tarnishes. So it's very easy to maintain. So if you have a piece of jewelry in gold, you wear it very often because it always looks pretty. And the best of all, it has the universal known value for all culture. Like, supposedly you give a gift of love, a gift of gold to someone, the recipient immediately know he or she is very special to you because you have just given them a gift that holds its value for good times and best of all for difficult times.
We know our government owns gold and it's stored in Fort Knox. How does an individual own or store gold?
For government, gold is stored in Fort Knox. For the individual, there are several ways for the individual to own gold. Gold chains or jewelry, gold coins, pure gold bullion or stocks. Out of the four, I like the pure gold bullion the best because it is simple. I like to keep it simple, super simple method. Gold chain is usually an alloy, so the true value needs to be assessed. And assessment of gold coin value is a little bit even more complicated. You have to know what kind of coin you want to collect, what kind of coin you want to get. Only gold stocks or gold ETF are not the same because those are digital gold, not physical gold. Okay, now we lead to our next question is how and where to store the gold. You can store them in your own safe at your home, or you can store them in domestic vaults or international vaults. You've got to pay for that service, of course. But international diversification in storing precious metal overseas is a good idea. But I don't think it's a good idea to store your gold in the bank because when we have a paper currency crisis, banks may not be accessible to you.
As far as the gold our government owns, can you explain our government system of owning gold? For instance, what department controls it?
Several entities of our government acts as a custodian for U.S. government gold. They are Federal Reserve System and U.S. Mint. Federal Reserve System actually has 12 regional Federal Reserve banks, and they are established mainly to be the operation arm of the nation's central banking system. And Federal Reserve Bank of New York is the major one. So in other words, the U.S. Treasury owns the gold, and small proportion of the gold is held by the Federal Reserve System, and the majority of it is held in custody for the Treasury by the U.S. Mint. So none of the gold stored in the vault belongs to the Federal Reserve System. They are just there as a custodian.
Does the gold held by our government have any effect on the price of gold?
Okay. The gold right now is stored in secured locations. They were there only to give us confidence in our country's security. Since 1971, after President Nixon cast off the gold standard, the people can no longer come in and redeem currency for gold. So nowadays, gold reserves are nothing more than an asset on the Fed's balance sheet. It's not an integral part of a monetary system. However, price of gold is manipulated by the government because the purpose of driving the price of gold down is to discourage gold ownership, gold purchases, because gold get in the way on the government's need to print money at will. So price of gold is not affected by the amount of gold held by the government right now.
Okay, now I got to tell you, when I hear the words buy gold, images of really heavy gold bars or gold coins comes to mind. Are there other ways of buying gold, and what are the advantages and disadvantages of each one of those?
Okay. There are 4 ways of buying gold for the individual: jewelry, gold coins, gold bullions, and stocks. I don't recommend buying gold stocks because gold stock is digital. You don't really own gold. You are also exposed to stock market volatility. Buying physical gold is a loose term. It all depends on your budget. The rich has been buying as much as 40-ounce gold bars or gold coins or collected gold coins or jewelry. Buying gold coins needs knowledge. It's more complicated. And some people like to buy chains of gold because when you travel abroad, you don't need to declare jewelry. But you carry currency, gold bullions, or coins with value over $10,000, then it needs to be declared. Nowadays, there's other ways to buy gold in expendable denomination. So people with less discretionary budget will also be able to buy gold in denomination of 1 gram, 2.5 grams, and 5 grams. There's an advantage of buying the expendable denomination because when it comes time you need to spend the bullion, you never have to change it back to paper currency ever again. When you buy the ounce bar where you need to purchase grocery, you have to change it back to paper currency because you can't possibly buy a whole ounce full worth of a grocery at the one time. So as far as keeping the value, they all keep the value. Only pure 99.9 24 karat bullion is the simplest way to own gold because the value is known and is also accepted as currency in 194 countries. And you do not need an expert to establish a value at the time of transaction. It is going back to the basic.
Okay. Now, does the purchase or sale of gold have to be reported to the government in any way?
Yes, the sale of gold needs to be reported. Any gain is like any other investment need to be reported. On purchasing gold from a dealer, the profit generated as a result of selling the gold is up to the responsibility of the individual person. So the profit is taxable. Certain gold coins are exempt from 1099. So you need to talk to qualified investor, planner to advise.
Wow. Okay, I understand it was illegal for a citizen of the United States to own gold at one time, and that changed in about 1974. Can you tell us how and why the change came about?
Well, in 1929, U.S. had the Great Depression, and President Hoover was not able to turn things around. So when President Franklin Roosevelt took office, he think the depression was caused by the hoarding of gold by the public. He think that was the cause of the depression. So he issued an executive order in 1933, I believe. He kind of outlawed hoarding of gold coins, gold bullion, and gold certificate within the U.S. Everybody who has such possession has to turn it back to the Federal Reserve System, and they will exchange their gold possession for $20.67 per ounce. And if they don't do that, they'll be fined with $10,000 in fine or 10 years in prison, maybe both. So everybody turned in their gold. So anyway, in 1971, when President Nixon cut the relationship of currency to gold, so it made the U.S. dollar a fiat currency. So the currency is no longer backed by gold. So there was a movement in 1974 to rescind the Gold Reserve Act of 1934. So actually in 1974, this was brought up to the government, and so the gold ownership was finally legalized. So the public may own gold again in 1974, December 31st, because since it's not tied to our currency anymore.
Now, I know you have some strong feelings as to why a person should have gold. Would you share those feelings with us?
The question is more like, why not saving gold? Because owning gold is like getting back to the basics. Be detached from the complex monetary system that is eroding our hard-earned money. Owning gold is hedging against inflation and insurance on our finance, better yet, our money. Owning gold is having real money in our portfolio, in your portfolio, recognized as a monetary and financial asset worldwide. Owning gold is a true diversification of your portfolio with something that is not subject to the same systemic risk the stock market is. Owning gold is building a legacy to pass on to your children and grandchildren. Owning gold is owning something with a store value with 5,000 years of history, an asset class that has survived inflation, deflation, financial crisis, and natural calamities such as paper currency crisis. Owning gold is to take charge of your own money and be independent of a government and central banking system. Owning gold means your chance to prepare yourself to be on the right side of a crisis. You see, for each crisis, there's an opportunity end and a crisis end.
Fine. Now, what is your opinion as to what percentage of a person's savings should be in gold? And what kind? Coins, bullion, or is there anything else?
Well, this really depends on the individual. General recommendation is 10% to 30% in physical gold, not stocks, okay? I prefer gold bullion because with the quality of gold delivery, gold quality, it has to come from a good resource because then it's easy to know the exact value and purity. This is the type of gold people do transaction with. Coins are different. You require more knowledge and the type of coins you have. I prefer simplicity, back to the basic. Something easy to understand is the best way. Convert your paper currency to 99.924 karat gold because this is what we want to get away from the fiat currency, something basic. Where you want to be in this range, it really depends on how concerned you are about the current situation, current economic and financial and political situation. According to Jim Richter, the author to Currency War and the Death of Money, he recommends a 20% gold diversification because he explained gold is not a commodity, gold is not an investment, gold is money par excellence. Okay, when to start is really critical because this is something you should not procrastinate. Time to start is now because we know the paper currency crisis is coming and the stock market is not going to continue to do well for long because it is popped up by the gold printing of money. Stock market drop as much as 60% is likely to happen. Owning physical gold is the only way we as individuals can do something about to hedge against the oncoming crisis. Here's a quote from Ron Paul, a former U.S. Republican congressman. He said, crisis that will bring the way of life Americans enjoy to an end. It is not a question of if, but when.
Okay, that's interesting. If a person's just starting to save and they wanted to follow your directions and put some of that in gold, how would you suggest that they start those diversified savings?
Okay, first and foremost, the person has to see the value and wants to do this. Then it will be very easy for him or her to establish a committed saving schedule. It has to be a saving routine at least once a month with the amount that would best fit your budget. So it will become your way of life. Establish a committed routine of saving 1 gram, 2 gram, whatever amount that fit your budget, once a week, once every 2 weeks, or at the minimum, once a month. I stress at least once a month. It has to be very easy to do, so you'll be able to set up an automatic exchange program or do a manual exchange from paper currency to a superior gold currency in his or her individual online account at the comfort of your home. So on your continuous exchanging transaction, you will have a nice collection of gold sooner than you can think. And you will have your very own personal Fort Knox, where you will have the total control. When the whole system is easy and accessible, you will be able to do it and get your finance insured and build your legacy. You can design the schedule according to your budget, so you'll be successful in following your schedule. Pretty soon you will have a sizable account. What's so great about this, you will be doing this to prepare yourself for the oncoming paper currency crisis. This crisis is going to be a global event, magnitude of which is unlike anything we have experienced before. The best thing to invest is in money such as gold. To save in money such as gold. When that happens, you will witness the greatest wealth transfer in decades. Wealth never disappears. It only gets transferred. For every crisis, there will be a crisis and opportunity end. The question is, would you rather be on the crisis end or the opportunity end? When you have gold in your portfolio, you will be in a position to be opportunity end. This will be your chance to participate in the wealth transfer and get to a better financial position. Your chance to get ahead. Therefore, I really think it is important for everyone to start doing this. Don't wait at now, because you never know when the crisis is going to happen. Procrastination may cost your chance to get ahead.
Well, that's terrific. Irene, if somebody wanted to learn more, can they get in touch with you, and how would they go about doing that?
Please send me your contact information, www.irenewestwealthbuilding.com/contact. So I will be able to give you more information to help you get you on your way to build your legacy.
Okay. Well, Irene, I want to thank you so much for talking with us today, and I'm sure our listeners learned a lot of information. I'm also sure that a lot of that information can be put to work for them today. I want to thank all of our listeners for coming by today and spending this time with us. And as a parting gesture, I would like to share with you something that I used to ask all of my students who were taking golf lessons. I would ask them, what is the most important shot in golf? And they answered, the putt, the drive, the irons, the woods. And of course, that was all wrong. The most important shot in golf is the next one, the one that's after the next one. You have no idea what it is. So concentrate in your golf game, concentrate on the next shot. In your life, concentrate on this one moment in time. Thank you and goodbye.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.